much in love, they failed to notice smoke emanating from the walls of the bungalow where they'd gone to enjoy a second honeymoon after leaving the girls home with a babysitter. No wonder the sisters always shared a bed during storms. They were both terrified of thunder and could never speak above a whisper once the sky began to rumble. When they did finally doze off, their arms wrapped around each other, they often had the exact same dreams. There were times when they could complete each other's sentences. Certainly, each could close her eyes and guess what the other most desired for dessert on any given day. But in spite of their closeness, the two sisters were entirely different in appearance and temperament. Aside from the beautiful gray eyes the Owens women were known for, no one would have had reason to guess the sisters were related. Gillian was fair and blonde, while Sally's hair was as black as the pelts of the ill-mannered cats the aunts allowed to skulk through the garden and claw the draperies in the parlor. Gillian was lazy and liked to sleep past noon. She saved up her allowance money, then paid Sally to do her math homework and iron her party dresses. She drank bottles of Yoo-hoo and ate goopy Hershey's bars while sprawled out on the cool basement floor, content to watch as Sally dusted the metal shelves where the aunts kept pickles and preserves. Gillian's favorite thing in the world to do was to lie on the velvet-cushioned window seat up on the landing, where the drapes were made of damask, and a portrait of Maria Owens, who had built the house so long ago, collected dust in a corner. That's where she could be found on summer afternoons, so relaxed and languid that moths would land on her, mistaking her for a cushion, and proceed to make tiny holes in her t-shirts and jeans. Sally, 397 days older than her sister, was as conscientious as Gillian was idle. She never believed in anything that could not be proven with facts and figures. When Gillian pointed to a shooting star, it was Sally who reminded her that what was falling to Earth was only an old rock, heated by its descent through the atmosphere. Sally was a take-charge sort of person from the start. She didn't like confusion and mess, both of which filled the aunt's old house on Magnolia Street from attic to cellar. From the time she was in 3rd grade, and Gillian in 2nd, Sally was the one who cooked healthy dinners of meatloaf and fresh green beans and barley soup, using recipes from a copy of Joy of Cooking she'd managed to smuggle into the house. She fixed their lunchboxes each morning, packing up turkey and tomato sandwiches on whole wheat bread, adding carrot sticks and iced oatmeal cookies, all of which Gillian tossed in the trash the instant after Sally had deposited her in her classroom, since she preferred the sloppy joes and brownies sold in the school cafeteria, and she often had swiped enough quarters and dimes from the aunt's coat pockets to buy herself whatever she liked. Night and day, the aunts called them. And although neither girl laughed at this little joke, or found it amusing in the least, they recognized the truth in it, and were able to understand, earlier than most sisters, that the moon is always jealous of the heat of the day, just as the sun always longs for something dark and deep. They kept each other's secrets well. They crossed their hearts and hoped to die if they should ever slip and tell, even if the secret was only a cat's tail pulled, or some foxglove stolen from the aunt's garden. The sisters might have sniped at each other because of their differences. They might have grown nasty, then grown apart, if they'd been able to have any friends. But the other children in town avoided them. No one would dare to play with the sisters, and most girls and boys crossed their fingers when Sally and Gillian drew near, as if that sort of thing was any protection. The bravest and wildest boys followed the sisters to school, at just the right distance behind, which allowed them to turn and run if need be. These boys liked to pitch winter apples or stones at the girls, but even the best athletes, the ones who were the stars of their Little League teams, could never get a hit when they took aim at the Owens girls. Every stone, each apple, always landed at the sisters' feet. For Sally and Gillian, the days were filled with little mortifications. No child would use a pencil or a crayon directly after it had been touched by an Owens girl. No one would sit next to them in the cafeteria or during assemblies, and some girls actually shrieked when they wandered into the girls' room to pee or gossip or brush their hair, and found